time for us to push the conversation a bit further as it relates with the local government situation in Rivers State. Now, as you know, it's no longer breaking news, like I would say. The Supreme Court did give a judgment yesterday. We've also had the Court of Appeal judgment as it relates to the extension of local government chairman's tenure. All of these things have brought about, serious political squabbles in the state. There is the CTCs on one side, there is the local government chairman whose tenure has expired on the other side, and yet, my goodness, so much political brouhaha in Rivers State. I've got with me on the show today Dr. Samuel Nwanosike, former Ikwerre local government chairman, who will be with me as we talk about this issue. Dr. Nwanosike, welcome on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, first of all, how are you reacting to the Supreme Court judgment that allows autonomy for local governments? According to what has been reported, local governments will have their finances sent directly to them. And also, no governor can, on his own or our own, appoint local government caretaker committee chairman.
Yeah, first of all, we thank God Almighty for this great day. We thank God Almighty for making it possible for we as a people to see that democracy is being deepening in Nigeria, and the people are ready to receive the dividends of democracy all over the 774 local governments in Nigeria. And so we're happy, and we know that for Nigeria to be built, it has to come from the third tier system to the first tier. And that's what God has made possible happen to us. And we want to thank Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for him having the courage to send this matter to the Supreme Court for interpretation via his Attorney General, which gave us this victory. It means Mr. President is very sincere. He's a Democrat who means well for the people, and the result has shown clearly that we in Nigeria, we can make democracy work in 3 tiers and 3 arms.
Okay. And some Rivers people, including myself, are wondering, how does this benefit you? Now, you would agree with me that as local government chairman, your tenure expired on the 17th of June, if I'm correct. And there is the argument as to whether it should be extended or not based on the law as amended by the Martin Amaewhule-led Assembly. Now, that matter has gone to Court of Appeal. And what is being reported is that the matter has been struck out, right? So people are not wondering, how does this benefit you and your colleagues?
I didn't hear what you were saying. I don't know if you can repeat that question, because everything you said, I didn't hear that part.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Now, so, I'm saying, how does this benefit you and your colleagues whose tenure expired on the 17th of June, and there is the argument as to whether it should be extended or not, given the law as amended by Martin Amaewhule-led Assembly, which has been struck out by Court of Appeal, as reported?
Well, first of all, no Court of Appeal struck out our matter. When people are not properly informed, they tend to misinform the public. Let me use that language. But what happened was that, Justice Kill of the State High Court tried to shoot down the bill, or shoot down the law. The law as was made by the House of Assembly, a part of the law. And in doing that, we, via our lawyers, went to court to try to join this issue. And because we believe that every action taken via that law would affect us. And indeed that the Court of Appeal said that by the orders of the Court of Appeal, Rule 6, Order 4, that we did not seek the leave of court, before coming to file that appeal, and so that we should go and do the proper thing and before we come back before them, and which, as we speak, our lawyers have complied with, and soon the Court of Appeal will hear our matter. So our matter is quite alive, and that we're waiting for the Court of Appeal to do justice to it.
So this, from what you have said, there's still the possibility of that law standing if it is heard in the Court of Appeal, if I got you right.
Yes, of course. As soon as the Court of Appeal hears our matter and takes a position, we'll be rest assured that the proper pronouncement has been made on that issue. So we don't want to join the crowd. I don't want to join those who believe that the justice or to seek justice, you must go to the pages of newspaper or to go through the pronouncements of television, because there are several lawyers right now out there who do not understand the rule of law, who are out there in the public media trying to deceive people and to say one or two things who does not conform with the today's laws. So we don't want to join that. We want to make sure we are on the side of the law at all times and to do justice to our people.
Okay, talking about what is circulating in the media, we have seen certain analysis that would point to Martin Amaewhule and others, at the House of Assembly is led assembly as a legal assembly, and that the laws that they have made as null and void. I mean, you must have heard those descriptions by lawyers, by political analysts or political commentators. And so they're saying if the laws made by Martin Amaewhule are null and void, it also includes this local government law as amended. What are your reactions to that? Because even the governor has said the assembly he recognizes is that of Victor Okojumbo.
Well, first of all, we are worried. When passerbys make statements, we will just let it fly, because we consider them that they do not understand what the tenets of democracy is all about. But if a man who is holding the highly exalted office of the governor of a state will make such a statement, it becomes worrisome, because as a governor, believe that he should be the custodian of authority and should hold on to the rule of law and obey the constitution which he has sworn to uphold. To say is laughable and very, very disheartening for a man to say Martin Amaewhule is an illegal assembly, when the Court of Appeal, as we speak today, has said clearly that Martin Amaewhule and his colleagues are the assembly known by law. And so if the governor believes that because he does not like Martin Amaewhule and Martin Amaewhule is not ready to do his bid, and thereby he has decided not to obey the law of Court of Appeal, or gone to appeal that law and decide to say that it is only the assembly he wishes to stand that should stand, then it's unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. But the governor should know that this assembly did not come to life because of his wishes. No, the assembly came to life because they were elected by their constituencies as enshrined in our constitution as constituency leaders, and who are the voice of reasonings of democracy in their various constituencies. Because without the legislative arm, the democracy is not complete. Don't forget, we're running 3 arms of government and 3 tiers of government, and that the legislature is the voice of the people in democracy. And that's where we are. So, if Mr. Governor has said so, then it's unfortunate. But as we speak today, it is the Court of Appeal decision that said clearly that Okojumbo was not known to law. Justice Wale had no jurisdiction to pass any of such order that allowed Okojumbo come to life, and that by the Supreme Court, by Court of Appeal, by Supreme Court judgment, Okojumbo is not in existence in the eye of the law. Well, Supreme Court has said clearly, for any legislative business to be done, there must be a quorum of 1/3. And for you to take any very proper decision like passing of budget, you must have 2/3. And so, if 3 persons, Okojumbo and 2 others, out of 31, stands as 1/3, you should tell the public, as the media, at the forefront of democracy, those who are supervising democratic practice in Nigeria, you should use your responsibility in Nigeria to tell the media, because Supreme Court has ruled that matter in several cases to say, if you do not form a quorum of the entire members of the House, which is 1/3, no business done by you is accepted by law.
Okay.
And so Kojumbo does not exist, and every action taken by him, like screening of caretaker committees, screening of commissioners, screening of attorney general, and every other law they have passed, is null and void. That is the judgment of the Court of Appeal as we speak today, and until that judgment is upturned through an appeal in the Supreme Court, that remains the law of our land.
Okay, now talking about forming a quorum, some would argue, and still there's lawyers will argue, that Martin and his colleagues at his led assembly.
I'm not hearing you, sir. Sorry, the line, I don't know what's happening to your line.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
It's shaking.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, but can you hear me?
Hello?
Oh my. Okay, so we would have to
Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you loud and clear, but I'm wondering if you can hear me.
I'm struggling to hear you as I'm making efforts to move around to see that I hear you.
Okay, so we would re-establish connection.
I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, I was just asking. Some say Martin and others, at the House of Assembly defected, and as a result, they lost their seats, and that's why they are now saying, with the issue of quorum, forming a quorum, the remaining people, which Victor Okojumbo led Assembly is leading, are the ones who are still lawmakers, and that's why they are able to make the laws that they make. What do you make of that?
No, even like that, Supreme Court has said clearly in several issues. You can go and cite, lawyers know the citations that Supreme Court has said clearly. Even if, as if not conceding, that let's say Martin Zamegule and his colleagues are no more members of the Assembly, you still need INEC to conduct election in the remaining 27 seats and get 1/3 of those members to form any legislative business. For instance, somebody said Edison here was speaker. The question is, at what point did Edison here become speaker? Edison here at 29th of October, when this crisis broke out at the House of Assembly, was the leader of the 10th Assembly under Martin Assembly. He was impeached properly by members of the House seated, and he was suspended indefinitely from House activities. Same with 3 of his colleagues, Okojumbo from Bame, Kusogari Gude from Ahoda West, and the man representing the governor from Obuwandoni. They were all suspended for misconduct in the House on the 29th of October.
Okay, I would have to pause you. We have a commercial. We have a commercial piece.
Ikwerre Info.
relates to the local government situation in Rivers State. Of course, you've heard of the Supreme Court judgment. You've also heard the report about the Court of Appeal judgment. And my guest has said that the Court of Appeal judgment did not actually make a verdict or make any declaration. What it did was ask them to file the processes through the right medium or channels. And it really makes the conversation even more interesting. But welcome back, Dr. Nwanosike.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
All right. So you have said that the recognized assembly is that of the Martin Amaewhule-led assembly based on the Federal High Court's judgment and, of course, the Court of Appeal judgment released recently. The next question then would be, do you think the police should continue barricading the what's it called now? The local government secretariats, given that, like I've said, the governor of Rivers State has recognized the Victor Okojumbo led assembly and has also gone ahead to, appoint CTCs. And then now there is a Supreme Court judgment. Do you think the police, because some people have clamored for the evacuation of the local government secretariats, what are your thoughts on that one?
As the press, who is the conscience of democracy, who are those who are the watchdog of our activities, I think you stand a better position to educate the public what a Supreme Court judgment means. If a Supreme Court has said clearly in their decision that caretaker is illegal and that the governors do not have any of such powers to pronounce caretaker committee to manage the third-tier government, based on Section 7(1) of the Nigerian Constitution, and has even gone further ahead to say that all funds belonging to the local government should be sent to the local government directly, and say that the issue of joint accounts and activities from the state government is a thing of the past, beginning from yesterday. So it shows clearly that caretaker is a forgotten conclusion, and that the Federation today, as we have in Nigeria, now has 3 tiers of government: the federal, state, and local, all independent on its own and managing democratic tendencies for Nigerians at the 3 tiers and 3 arms. So I think it is your position to educate the public, not me, because it's your responsibility to be the conscience of democracy before the people.
Okay, so I was hoping you'd give me your thoughts on that, but let's move now to my next question, which has to do with RESEC, the Rivers State Electoral Commission, setting the date October the 5th for local government elections. Are you confident about that election?
For me, as far as I'm concerned, the election has been slated by RESEC. Is a responsibility research should do based on the provisions of the law. But there's a lacuna there.
Okay.
The question is, if you say you want to conduct an election for the people, what budgets would you use to spend the funds you need to conduct the local government election? And this is the issue. This is where the 10th Assembly, led by Martin Amaewhule, saw it and said, look, I think there's going to be a crisis in the future. Because the responsibility of the legislator to think for the people and speak for the people, because they are the voice of the people. They are the 2 constituencies that represent the people at the democratic level. That's why they are called constituency leaders. If the House of Assembly, led by Martin Amaewhule, which is the proper assembly, has pronounced by the Court of Appeal and said, Mr. Governor, you have not presented to us the appropriation to manage the affairs of democracy in Rivers State. How do you raise the funds to conduct local government election? Don't forget, in January 24th, 2024, Justice Omotosho of the Federal High Court gave a clear-cut ruling to say you must present the budget before the proper House of Assembly, not the 4-man assembly created imaginary by Edison Ehie, who later came and paid 5 million naira as a fine because Justice George Will later found out that he lied to him and that he was never a speaker, and resigned. Today he's the chief of staff of the University Government House. And so that was what saved Justice K before NJC. So the question is, if NJC did not exist as a speaker, nobody nominated him by House rule, he was not voted for as a speaker, there was no votes and proceeding on the day that he claimed he became the speaker. Even at that, the one-third quorum was not met as stated by the Supreme Court in various judgments. It shows clearly that everything was a meddlesome interloper. So sending budgets to him was an aberration that was not known by law. And forget about sentiment. We're talking about democracy in Nigeria. Democracy does not have to smile to me. I do not have to be in good terms with you, Canada, for me to practice democracy based on our laws. Democracy is practiced based on the Constitution of Nigeria and the rule of law. So whether I like you or not, it's irrelevant. What's important is, am I following the laid down rules and regulations that allow democratic processes to stand when it comes to issue? So if it is clear that Justice Nwanosike has said, present this budget before the House of Assembly. So it makes it clear to say every action taken by the governor from the 1st of July this year, which requires spending of funds, River State Fund, whether internally generated revenue or federation allocation, is illegal. It means that the governor has to obey the ultimatum of the House of Assembly and represent that budget in line with a lot of court decisions that have said represent this budget before the proper House. Don't forget, when we were with Mr. President, when Mr. President called the peace accord, one of the major issues in the 8-point agenda is represent the budget so that River State can have a proper appropriation. You cannot run a state like River State which run a budget of over close to 1 trillion, 800 and something billion, and you said you just run it because you are a gentleman, you are a manager of Shell, or that you're being oppressed, or that you're a peaceful man. No, it's not being peaceful that is the issue. The issue is, what is the rule of law? A farmer will go to farm with his farming instrument. A medical doctor will go to the theater with his medical instrument. So also a carpenter will go to his function with his instrument. In democracy, a governor will govern with the rule of law and with the provision of the Constitution. It has nothing to do with sentiment. It has nothing to do with sentiment at all. Whether the governor likes it or not, there are 3 arms of government. There's a judiciary, which is part of an heading. There's a legislature, which Martin Amewule is heading. And there is there's executive, which the government is heading. There's a legislature, which Martin Amewule is heading. And there's a judiciary, which the CG is heading. And each of these arms of government are what makes our democracy. And in the Constitution, everybody has its provisions and rules. You cannot surpass one by just by statement of, oh, I am from this ethnic group. Oh, this ethnic group came to pay me a visit. Oh, they are oppressing me. Okay. Oh, somebody is creating problems. No.
Let me pause you now.
That's not democracy.
Let me pause you. Now, you made mention of Edison Eye going to the court and asking the court to make him speaker. And then the court later found out that he was lying and he had to pay the fine of 5 million. Can you point me to any? Because I would need some evidence to that effect to the statement you made.
The judgment was before AJC, and it's obvious and clear that was the presentation he made, and that was what rescued him from the hammer of the NGC due investigation. And that was why this year withdrew from the court and said he was no more the speaker. And he has resigned, and today he's the chief of staff of the River State Government House. Even at that, there's another question that needs to be answered. When did Okojumbo become the Speaker of the River State Assembly? Who nominated Okojumbo? Who voted for him? Did he meet the 1/3 as provided by the Constitution to say for any legislative business to hold legitimately, you must have 1/3 of members of the House dead in part of business? Now, let's come back to another issue. Everybody wakes up and says, oh, the seats have been declared vacant. You think is that automatic? Who declares the seats vacant? Section 109 is stated there clearly. I checked the subsection there. You will see it. They said the presiding officer, who was doing the presiding officer? Edison, was he a presiding officer? At the time they had the crisis in 29th of October, he was already impeached and suspended. His suspension has not been passed by any court of competent jurisdiction. So at what point did he come out? Who is the member of the House that nominated him? Who seconded his nomination? Who voted for him to become the speaker? For him to not sit back and say, now that I'm the speaker, I have not declared this. And then the governor is coming publicly to say, yes, their seats have been declared vacant in December. I'm just trying to help them. You know, it's ridiculous. It shows clearly that maybe probably the government does not understand that the democracy we are practicing is a very serious business.
Okay. I'm going to ask this question because you also mentioned the Abuja Accord, like I like to call it. Do you think the president should intervene yet again? I mean, do you see any process of reconciliation happening, positively for Rivers people? Because all of this political imbroglio, all of these fight back and forth, has affected. I mean, for instance, local government have been under lock and key for more than a month. So do you think, that there can be a political solution to this and the president should intervene one more time?
Even you that is asking this question, I think you even in your mind, it's ridiculous. The number one citizen of this nation, very busy.
But he intervened.
To call all of us, hold on.
Okay.
He called all of us, 15 local government chairmen, all the assembly members, 31 of us from all parties. He called our leaders, the governor, the minister, everybody, traditional rulers. He spent his time and gathered us in the villa and said, gentlemen, before now, the governor has come to me and has intervened in this matter between the governor and my minister. Now, Dr. Peter, another leader has called my attention. I will want to say this. Today, we will come to the resolution of this matter. But the governor of the state, who is the leader of the state, I want to ask you a question. For this to happen, will you agree to these issues as will be read out by Sir Dr. Peter Dele? Because it was also Dr. Peter that read the 8-point agenda, and the governor listening to each of those agendas one after another. Each of those agendas that Dr. Peter Dele read, the president of Nigeria paused and said, please, sir, Governor, did you understand this part? If you understood, will you sign? If you sign, will you implement so that peace will reign? And the governor said yes. And each of those items you are taking one after another. And what are these items? One, there shall be no impeachment on the governor, which has been settled by the House of Assembly 24 hours as they came back. Two, represent the budget to the proper assembly led by Moses Samevuli. Don't interfere with the activities of the House of Assembly. Wherever they want to sit, is their right to sit because they are legislative. In fact, the president even made an example to say that in Lagos, when he started as governor, that the House of Assembly was sitting in a building that he donated because then they didn't have a proper House of Assembly. But when the House of Assembly sitting in his building requested that they want financial autonomy, and that if you do not grant them the crisis, then you have no choice than to grant the financial autonomy. That's why Lagos is the only state assembly to have financial autonomy. And even advise the governor, you must learn how to play politics with even your enemy. Those you don't like, you learn how to navigate between them. That is what democracy is not your personal business. These are the advices the president. And the president said, why will you reduce Nigerian democracy to a ridicule? Going to send budget to 4 man when you have 27 men because you believe that 27 men are against you. Canada, you are part of the media people before people became governors. You are part of the media people that used to go to on air and say all the assemblies in Nigeria are rubber stamp assembly. You used to say so. Today, we have an assembly that can stand up and say, we don't want to be rubber stamp. We want to defend democracy and be the voice of our people as we are elected to manage democratic tenets. The question is, if the president in his accord has said, represent the budget, recall the commissioners, why will the governor, after leaving the villa, listen to psychopaths and those who meant nothing work for him? Those who want to line their pockets, those who want to see that they hold to political office, come up and deceive him by doing protests and going to court and say no manner of things the same. Don't forget, even the governor came on air after several protests by those who came back from the villa to say, gentlemen, stop. I signed this peace accord by my own evolution. It was not on duress. I signed it for peace to reign in River State. That I must make sacrifice. No sacrifice is too big to make for River State to move forward. All of a sudden, the governor refused submitting the names of commissioners to the House of Assembly, which he later went and created permanent secretaries to do their responsibility and do their job. So as far as they are concerned, even when the governor comes to paint the picture of being the one that is being intimidated or harassed, meanwhile, he's the one creating the crisis. He's the one harassing people. He's the one intimidating people. He's the one making sure that we do not have peace in our system. Because if the governor has conducted local government election, knowing that our tenure will last 17th of June, today, a properly elected local government administration has been in place. We would have been talking about staying back to uphold the constitution.
All right.
But we're staying back because the Court of Appeal has said that every law made by Martin Samehule is made in good conscience and must be obeyed. And so we, as Rivers people, we are obeying the laws made by the Rivers Assembly led by Martin Samehule to say that until the governor brings a budget, not a proper local government election, that we will hold on to the tenure as provided by Martin Samehule and his cohort for the next 6 months, which is 5 months and few days running.
Okay, now I need to pause now, Dr. Nwanosike, because you've made reference to the governor not obeying the 8-point agenda, but also the Martin Samehule-led assembly did not obey when they refused to withdraw the case before the Federal High Court. So what would you say about that? Because that may have also snowballed into the actions the governor took.
Hold on. When you read the 8-point agenda, you will know that this question you asked now does not follow. In the 8-point agenda, there are specific items that were mentioned. And most the item as regards the House of Assembly led by Assembly was withdraw impeachment notice. It was not 24 hours as soon as they came back from the villa. Your reporters recorded them. You know what it means to withdraw impeachment notice?
But there was also
respect to the president, they did so. So if they have done their part, why would the governor not do his part? Why would the followers of the governor go and abuse and embarrass the president and tell the president that Rivers is not Lagos, he should stay away, this is democracy, and state all manner of things they said, and even went to court to get court injunctions and interpretation to make the governor not to implement the 8-point agenda. Yeah, in Rivers State, you saw it happen.
But there was also that part that said all court cases withdrawn. And it's
in the 8-point agenda.
Yes, you can also
please
check
read
it.
8-point agenda to Rivers people. Let us see, please. We're waiting for you.
I would read it, but while I'm waiting, for that answer,
read the 8-point agenda. Let's pause for you to read the 8-point agenda, please.
I do not have it in. I do not have it in front of me, Dr. Nwanosike.
Your phone.
I would look for. Yes, it is in my phone. I'll look for it.
Agenda,
but I don't have much time. My next question would be. Now that the Supreme Court has given this judgment, there are fears, like if I would quote James Ibori, that this is one way to lessen the powers controlled by state governors. Now, you are one of the ex-local government chairmen who have bandied words with the governor. Some would say this will give the local government chairman impetus to challenge state governors. Do you in any way agree, especially looking at how Rivers State politics is panning? Would you agree with that in any way?
So, in answering that question, it is proper for governors to bandit war with Mr. President. It is okay for governors to challenge decisions of Mr. President and even go to Supreme Court. Like recently now we hear that few states have gone to Supreme Court to challenge deductions by the federal government. That is democracy. This is the democracy. Now we will practice proper democracy. When governors go and challenge Mr. President, governors will come back to their states. Local government chairmen who do not like the programs and policies of governor will challenge the programs and policies of the governor. So the governor will understand that democracy is no more his personal business. It's no more, I wanted to help them. I allowed them to float. Those are not words of a Democrat. It shows clearly that if a local government chairman who is receiving allocation directly wants to develop his local government and have programs and policies that will better his local government outside of what the governor wants as enshrined in our constitution, that local government chairman is at liberty to carry out those actions because it is based on those actions that his people voted for him. And so we are deepening our democracy, and it's a good thing to go. And we commend the Supreme Court and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for taking these steps. Because when the governors harass the president, they come back. The same governors will harass the local government people. So the question is, where will we get the balance? So now the Supreme Court has created an opportunity for us to get the balance. And I think democracy will move forward.
Interesting. So how do you think we should go about the CTC situation in Rivers State? I mean, the Supreme Court has mentioned it. You have also made references to certain court judgments, but it has not changed the situation in Rivers State. How do you think, as someone who is a stakeholder,
what has not changed the situation in Rivers State?
I mean, we still have CTCs, right? We still have the CTCs function.
What a ridiculous! What an embarrassment is that?
No,
I'm shocked that you, as a reporter in Nigeria Info, will come this slow.
No, it's not. I am saying what it is because.
Do you have a carpentry background?
Dr. Nwanosike, have you heard the governor make any?
Supreme Court of the land, the last court, has said that CTC is illegal and is null and void, and all the federation, no CTC that is standing is legal, and you're saying that
Dr. Nwanosike, I have not argued with what the Supreme Court has interpreted. I am reporting what is the situation as we speak. And I am saying...
There's no such situation. Hello, let me tell you what is happening.
Okay.
My brother,
let me listen to you.
There is no such situation.
Okay.
There is no such situation. Forget about all those statements made by those who do not understand the evidence of... They don't understand the rule of law and the interpretations of courts. Forget about it. They know. They know that from yesterday, that 11th of July, that it was gone and gone forever. The only way anything cities can come back in life is if God from heaven comes to say that by saying so, he reduces him as a governor of the state. That means, my final word is seizing the allocation of elected local government chairman for 3 months by the governor of Rivers State that he did before the expiration of our tenure 17th of 2007 has shown clearly that the governor intentionally did not want to conduct local government election, wanted to bring his cronies through the back door and hand over resources belonging to Rivers people to them. But we are happy that the Supreme Court has really made it clear that all such funds given to such people are illegal and illegitimate and must be accounted for. And so we are saying clearly that the EFCC and the ICPC now have a job to do. Because you cannot give 1.something billion belonging to Ikwerre local government to a man that is not known by law. Even when you are aware that there is an appeal which judgment has been reserved at the Supreme Court, you go ahead to constitute such a body and spend our money. We are saying that money that was not spent by their appropriation, that money must be accounted for. And all those persons who are out of that fund at the appropriate time. And I can assure you, in this country, based on the Supreme Court ruling, that will be done.
Okay, so before you go, I will read what is in the 8-point agenda. All agreed that all matters instituted in the courts by the warring parties should be withdrawn immediately. It was agreed by all parties, especially the Wike scam, that all impeachment proceedings initiated against the governor by the Rivers State House of Assembly be dropped immediately. There was also the talk about not tampering with the remunerations and benefits of all members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and their staff. Must be reinstated immediately, and the governor of Rivers State shall henceforth not interfere with the full funding of the Rivers State House of Assembly and many other things. My time is up, but
no, continue.
My time is up. My time is up.
Finish it.
My time is up, Dr. Nwanosike. I've got to go.
For more talk, news and sports, stay tuned to Nigeria Info. We'll be right back after this.
My country people, mama, papa and pikin, make una listen o. Cholera full town. Cholera 96 prevent with